Good morning, Business Press Maven.
Mrs. Maven.
Yeah.
In the past 10 years, I think that I'm the only one who has bought anything at the Gap. Which that doesn't say anything admirable about me or the Gap.
No, it doesn't.
No. Anyhow, but here's the deal. Barron's came along this weekend with an enormous article about how Gap is on the surefire road to a comeback.
Really?
Yeah, the article was, "Can the Gap come back?" And the sub-headline had the answer. After a decade of fashion missteps, the venerable retailer is poised for an impressive rebound.
Really?
Beware H&M and Zara. Hey, look, here's the deal. The article was good until it derailed in typical Barron's fashion.
Really?
Starting out, yeah, they listed some of the positives and some of the negatives and let you know that they sided with the positives, which is just fine. I disagree. Well, I think that online as well, they love China. That's just in the larval stage. And with a company like Gap, until you see the merchandising turnaround in the store, you can't go for it. Okay?
Yeah.
But they ended in typical Barron's fashion. It's like a verbal tick. They said, oh, and it might be taken private. Who knows, right? They threw around a price in the high 20s. Now this is, by their own admission, complete conjecture, completely unsourced. This
Really?
is just put in to titillate the reader, but it has no basis or bearing on reality. As they admit themselves, they say there's no indication that Gap is planning to sell. Then why do you bring it up? Except to titillate, right?
Yeah.
To like burnish the story at the end so people will talk about. They don't even say, they bring up that Gap has no plans to sell, but also who would want to buy an albatross like this?
It's huge.
It's huge, and it is still incredibly troubled, and yet there Barron's goes throwing around prices in the high 20s. Now, Ms. Maven, we criticize coverage when they talk about takeover discussions when they're in the preliminary stage.
Yeah.
By Barron's own admission, talks aren't even there, right? Nobody's talking about this, and yet they bring it up, and yet they see it as a suitable punctuation mark to an otherwise decent story. I don't get this, Ms. Maven, and this is something that we see in Barron's plenty, and it's no good for investors because it plants a false seed in their minds. Any questions here?
Nope.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
psyched to be back to work?
Yes.
No, really?
I'm so psyched.
Yeah. Your enthusiasm is overwhelming. Anyhow, viewers, if you disagree with me, and you won't, but if you do, feel free to email me at mark.fuchsstreet.com. And remember, when it comes to Gap, they just don't get it.